Yes, West Smoke boy.
That shit take me way back. Talk that shit like say that. Tell them that I'm coming, catch them running.
Welcome everybody to TruExact Show. I'm here with Raymond Bryan, our special guest, the legendary one and only number 45, Rudy Ruettiger. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Legendary. I'm
Trust
not legendary, coach. I'm just a regular guy that did something I was
Extraordinary.
Practice and make a tackle.
You
right?
know what? You know what though?
That's that. But I'll tell you, the challenge was not the tackle, was making the movie.
That's what we'll get into in a bit. We will get into that, I promise.
Right.
Like, go on, Raymond.
The one thing you have done more than any man has ever done to any man on this planet is made every male cry at some point watching that movie.
Well, the message is,
I didn't know where you were going with that, but that went well.
Because of the heart. It gets to the heart.
Every time.
It's going to touch you.
Right.
But it's the music. It's how everything was set up. The whole movie was set up. And I call it the interpretation of the writer, how he saw it to make the movie work. But the story is our documentary on our Rudy Ruettiger The Walk, and that tells the story. But the movie tells the story. It's the spirit of the truth, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Right. We stuck to that. We stuck to the actual what we call moments that made it happen. But there's so many layers to that. You can't do it in a movie.
Right. And yeah, I do want to get into the movie because that's like, obviously we all watched it. I became a Notre Dame fan from watching it. I'm sure a lot of people have. The ripple effect just that movie has had is pretty amazing. But I want to touch on, how did you become such a Notre Dame fan growing up?
That's your culture in Chicago.
Okay.
Hey, New York, Yankee. Hey, I'm a Yankee fan. My Green Bay Packer fan. In Notre Dame, Catholic. Growing up in that culture, you go to church, what do you hear? The Notre Dame score. We had a good week at home if they won. And we see 2 times. Notre Dame can win 2 times in the weekend because you get the replay. So that makes it really cool when you can go home from Sunday Mass and watch the winning game from Saturday. So, but when they lost, hey, my dad took it serious and real diehard because Notre Dame was a Catholic school and all that just fell in line.
So as a kid, what team did you hate the most? Like, who did you hate?
You know what? I don't know if I hated any team. I just love sports. I love the competition of it. There was no one team I hated. Maybe disappointed in some teams, but not hated. Like the Cubs, I was disappointed in. The White Sox,
Right.
I mean, come on, guys, you got to win sometimes, right?
Right. And hey, they did eventually, right?
They did
but
eventually.
I love the Cubs and I love the Sox. And, I love the Yankees. In fact, when I went to Yankee Stadium, when they brought me to Yankee Stadium, they did a little article on their Yankee magazine, and they presented first base to me.
Wow.
In the 4th inning, because they changed bases every 3 innings. So I got the original. It's cool. Mariano Rivera signed it for me, but it's kind of cool when you presented first base. And when you're in Yankee Stadium, you don't think no one knows you, right? They all start chanting Rudy.
That's
so it told me, this is real stuff. This is real.
That's really cool. Brian, I know you had questions we talked about. If you want to jump in really quick, because I know you wanted to go a little bit more in the past around like the high school era.
Yeah. Just from reading, like Googling and finding information about like your life as opposed to just using the movie as a reference, because we all know Hollywood changes things and they add things to make a story more dramatic and things like that. During your high school days, because I played high school football, and I know that the challenges that were there. And, trying to think that, I could potentially try to get to the next level, meaning like D1, seemed like such a huge jump to me. It almost seemed like it was such an impossible thing. How did you hold on to that dream and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brian. I want to compliment you on one thing before I give you the answer. You got the greatest part I've ever seen on a man. That hair.
Thank you very much.
I'm never seen anything.
It is
so
pretty good. Oh boy.
Now
That's why-
everybody's getting their hair.
That's why I wear a hat, Rudy. That's
We
why
all
gonna-
do.
I'm gonna play that for my barber. I'm gonna let him
There
know.
you go. It's the best. So anyhow, make a long story short, you know, it's a mindset, number one. Everything's a mindset. And after high school, you know, I did not continue playing football. I went to work in a power plant. Then the Vietnam War was happening, and then I joined the Navy. So I did a stint in the Navy. And when I got out of the Navy, remember when I was out in the Mediterranean and we went to Guantanamo Bay, instead of messing around, there was an officer on the ship, a Notre Dame graduate, and he and I became friends. And he says, you know, you get out of here, you'll find a way to get there. Because that's how how do I get to Notre Dame? Because I graduated third in my class from the bottom in high school. So I said, there's no way. So, yeah, there's a way. You'll find a way. If you're in the Navy, you got here, you're going to find a way, my good friend. And I did. After I got back from the Navy, went back to work, that's when the accident happened. That's when sometimes you're afraid to step out, actually step out for what you really want because, hey, I'm not going to make it. I'm not good enough.
It's scary too.
Yeah.
It's just a mindset. It's an illusion. It's a damn illusion. And when I stepped out and went towards the goal, Notre Dame, all the answers were just falling right in place. The junior college. Then they had, because of the junior college, I got to prep myself for 2 years inter-hall football. So that kind of got me going for the varsity, to try out for the varsity. Once you found out, hey, I still have a little bit, but I'm not one of those guys, but I can contribute. And that's what kept me going, was the junior college, the inter-hall football, and all the relationships I started building there. And I found out, you know what? There's only a handful of great ones here. The rest of them are just like me. And I could do that. I could practice with those guys. They may be bigger, but I can outwork them. I can outdo them, but I don't have to start. I just want to be part of the football team. That was my mindset. And it worked, by the way. Instead of comparing myself to those guys, I looked at myself as how can I contribute to this tradition? And that was the whole mindset of why I went out.
How hard was it to push yourself academically? Because you just mentioned that
academically was scary, Brian. It was scary. The first 2 years at Holy Cross, I mean, you're applying to Notre Dame every semester, getting shut down.
Yeah.
But also, the good brother at that junior college said, Rudy, you do 4 semesters here, and you do well. I will endorse you, but not until 4 semesters are complete. Well, I applied every semester just to let them know I'm coming, right? Because of that, it all paid off. I graduated cum laude from the junior college. That's because I learned how to collaborate with my classmates and with the professors, which means what do I need? What course do I need to take the same course as those freshmen over there? I can't do calculus, but what math course can I do? And that's how they compared and set you up for success. And that was, no one in high school ever told me that. No counselor, but you get to where you're supposed to go. They're going to guide you and get you there to see the commitment and passion and the maturity. Because I'm a Navy veteran, I was a little more mature than freshmen, so I could handle all the disappointments and all the hard work.
Now, what kind of
like you? It just shows how quickly I gave up on everything really quickly.
Yeah.
Like it really makes me feel horrible about myself. I struck out looking when I was in 10th grade on a backdoor slider, and I quit from baseball for the rest of my life.
I wanted to play Yankee Stadium, man.
Not me. I was okay with wiffle ball after that. Sorry, bro.
Oh boy, I'll tell you, coaches will ruin your dreams, as you know. Some coaches.
Oh yeah.
There was one coach that ruined my baseball dream. He just was tough. If I saw him today, I wouldn't. Maybe I'll say hi to him, but maybe he helped me too. I don't know, because he helped me realize that, hey, things aren't going to be easy, dude. You know, you got to work a little bit, and that's okay too. But he could have empowered me differently by saying, keep working hard, son, you'll be fine. Instead of saying, hey, you can't do this and you can't do that. That destroyed my, I call, confidence as a human being. And that's what we as people, we as coaches, we as teachers, we can't do that to kids.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where they're coming from or how they're reacting to this, especially today. You have to empower them, make them feel good about themselves.
Right. Sorry.
Absolutely. Now, when you were at Holy Cross, what kind of training were you doing physically to get yourself ready for that level?
I'm glad you asked that question. Every hard workout, I looked at what they did and I duplicated it. And because of weights, they didn't have a weight training program at Notre Dame because it was, I started the weight training program at
Really?
Notre Dame.
Really?
Yes. And that's because it was NCAA. You couldn't, it was crazy is how things changed. My junior year, man, it became, if it wasn't for the weight training, I don't think I would have made it, because you have to absorb the shock in the body from some of these guys. And you have to be willing to take that hit. And maybe you can't react like the big guys, but at least you react to get up. You're still living. But it's one of those things where you have to, why am I here? That's the question. Why am I here? You're here to contribute, Rudy. I keep telling myself, contribute. But I have to act like I'm going to start. That's the work ethic. That's the work effort, work habit, work ethic. And I never lost that.
That's awesome, man.
That's incredible.
Raymond,
just hold on, one more thing real quick before I'll let you go, Ray. What was it like? Because obviously, you know, all of us have played football, and we've all gotten our bell rung pretty much.
Right.
What's it like to get? Yeah, you have. Shut up. What's it like to like really get hit by some all-American like D1 star?
You mean like Dave Casper? Or Jerry DiNardo, or one of those guys.
Any one of them.
Bob Golick was the worst, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like hitting a tree. Literally a tree. Some of these guys who are really good had a lot of finesse. So you didn't get hit real hard by that. They finessed you. But guys like Golick, man, they would just pound you to the ground. And Casper, he loved to hit walk-ons. So they got me pretty good. Yeah.
Raymond, go on.
I think like that was a couple of those questions I wanted to ask too, but like,
go for it.
What kept you going academically? I mean, you were trying to do your dream at a Division I powerhouse school, but knowing technically you didn't have the talent as the other guys did, but then also keeping your dreams alive as well, and then focusing on keep the grades up too. What was the stress on that, or the motivation towards getting that done?
At times when you sit in a classroom with a lot of valedictorians, pretty smart guys, girls too at that time, you'd be surprised how they want to help you win. So you form a mastermind. That's what I did. I picked out certain, because I'm dyslexic and I learn differently. So I picked out a group of people who I could study with. And boy, what a difference. Made a big difference in my academics, made a big difference in how I solved problems, because I learned right from them how they would do it, and how I wouldn't call it, I couldn't take notes like this girl, but she was a good note taker, but I listened and it was a good listener. So you collaborated that information and eliminated a lot of the stress, because you were well prepared for class. And also the Notre Dame professors really don't want to fail you unless you want to fail, if that makes sense. They want you to win, but you got to do the work. So that's what I knew. If I did the work, I'll be okay. And when I saw the test, I did the work. I don't have to be an A-B student, but I was very fortunate getting B's at Notre Dame, and that gave me confidence. And because of the team I had around me.
Good. Now, the roommate that was in the movie,
right?
Are you still friends with him to this day, or no?
Well, that's a composite. He passed away.
Okay.
The character, but the federal judge, who was my tutor, is a federal judge, and in the movie, you don't want to present a federal judge image in the movie, because we want a comic relief feel there as well. So John Favreau played that part very well when we composite characters. And yeah, I mean, the federal judge, D-Bob and I were very close up to the end, and even the federal judge were very close.
When this was all going on, obviously it was only really newspapers, some television, no social media, clearly. So were the people around the area aware of what you were doing at the time, like this walk on, kind of like a Vince Papale with the Eagles? Only
Good guy.
like the, you know,
the difference between Vince and I, Vince had talent. I didn't have any. Right? He could run. That dude can run, and he could catch, and he had a little more skill than I.
Right.
But here's what took off for me.
Okay.
I think the relationships of someone that's not supposed to be there, and they're getting inspired by that. Some of the players, not all of them, but some of them. The coaches got inspired by that once they saw the work ethic take place, and they would yell out every now and then, "Be more like Rudy." I said, "Oh man, don't do that." But they would always love that work ethic, that hard, that even though you're not, but you're giving your best and you have a good attitude, and guys, there were so many. I really didn't belong out there.
Yeah.
But in my mindset, I belong there. That's the difference. When you have a mindset, I belong here too. And when you look at the reality, I don't belong here. But in my mindset, I belong there. And I performed in my mind like an All-American, in my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a real, you kind of trick your mind is what you do. In a good way, not in a bad way. Like when I was in the military, you had to trick your mind all the time, and it's not so cold out here, middle of the ocean, and you're free. And man, this is great. Wow, how many guys would love this freedom? Just little things like that. Keep positive thoughts in your head to keep you going through it. But when you get the bad part of it, like the players, some of them didn't like who you were, didn't like your work ethic, because you were disturbing their entitlement moment. They're entitled to this.
I was going to ask,
and we're not going to work. Come on, man, quit showing off. Or, you're never going to play. You get comments like that. You're too old. You get that all the time, but it went in one and out the other. Hey, I'm 25, man. They're 18, 19. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah. They have no idea what work is. And, so I have both sides of the work ethic, from the blue collar side, from the athletic side, what they're going through. I just combine that to make for me, to make sense for me. And you have to do it for you. You can't do it for the other guy.
Right.
When you do it for you, you're helping the other guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So then this happens. You get in the game. You make the play. Like a decade and a half later or so, I could have my years on, but around there, the movie comes out. How were you approached and knew that?
I was not approached.
You weren't approached.
No. I saw the movie Rocky, and bingo, that light that goes off.
Yeah.
I mean, it just flipped.
It's never gone off for me. The idea.
Oh, that's okay.
Never gone off.
But that work ethic bingo went off. Look how hard he worked in that movie, got in that ring. He's not supposed to be in that ring till he got hit, and his work effort paid off.
Right.
You see, same thing for me. All that work I did, it paid off when I got hit in practice or when I got in the game. When you go in a game, you go into a zone. It's a hard thing to explain. You go when you practice and practice and practice, it's automatic, and that's the same way. When I saw the movie Rocky, he didn't think he belonged in that ring until he got hit. Once he got hit, it was a game on, and that's what said that. I have a story that's true, and I love to do a movie. That was my thought, because in the locker room at Notre Dame, you'll like this. I'll never forget, the sports writer for Chicago Tribune, Bill Gleason, came up to me, said, "No one knows you, man. Who are you?" And they're cheering for you. They cheered for me because I was a bingo boxer at Notre Dame with the students, and it's a big event, and I won the bingo bouts because I was a small guy beating the big guy. They chanted Rudy. So some of the students start chanting Rudy in the student section. If whatever you do in the student section, that's what the crowd does. So
Mhm.
that just took off. Now the players, they never started Rudy. They could care less. But there was a handful of guys that wanted me to play, and there was one guy that gave up his uniform so I could play. In the movie, we wanted to show the unity of the team. So we showed them throwing their jerseys, which never happened, would never happen. But how do you show that in a movie? It takes too much time to
Right.
really develop that. So we just did that. So that's the interpretation of the real facts,
Right.
of the truth. So when I got in the game, it was like automatic, man. It
So-
was like fun.
Right. So, all right, you had the idea after seeing Rocky. Who did you approach for the movie? Like, who did you go
I
to?
didn't know what to do.
You
know,
didn't know.
I went out to California, right? Cold as, and I asked, when I got out there, I went down to where I went down by Culver City where the studios were.
Yeah.
Hey, where do the producers hang out? Oh, they're inside the, oh, no, where do they eat? You know, oh, some go here, some. So I start doing my intel and found out one place. I went to Carnegie Deli.
Mhm.
So I went to Carnegie Deli and I asked the maitre d', the waiter, I said, any producers in here that makes movies? Yeah, there's one back there, Jake Steinfeld, Bodied by Jake. I said, yeah, man. So I used to watch his program. So I went over and complimented him. He said, have a seat. I said, yeah. And we became buddies and you know, not buddies, but he liked me and I liked him. He's from New York, came out and made it. You know, he's a Rudy, right? So what are you out here for? I told him my story. So, oh, shoot, you sound like me, man. And we hit it off. So that's a good story. And so what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go try to make a movie with it. He said, good luck. It's a great story. See, that positive feedback kept me going. Then you start meeting all the goofballs out there that said they know people that don't know people.
Right.
You end up knowing the people that they said they knew. You know,
Yeah.
so you got to go through all that. Then you see Hoosiers. Then you see Field of Dreams. It kept me going. Sometimes you got to put it on pause.
Yeah. Basically, you knew that there was a market for that type of film after seeing all.
After I saw Rocky and
Yeah.
Field of Dreams and who I said absolutely. And there's another. There is a message. We have a message, and I'm going to pursue that. Now, I couldn't do it all the time because I had to work, and then you have to go back to your job, and you go take a couple of days off, go out to California. But I was consistent with that, and I would have, I call them mastermind meetings. So I picked a group of guys every Thursday at my condo in South Bend. That's where I ended up in 1986. And we had movie night, what I call making the movie. What would we do if we made this movie? So we put the whole movie in our heads through talking of it, just simulating certain things, but not saying we're not screenwriters, we're not directors. We're just guys like you guys will get together. Hey, this will be a good story. But, you know, when you tell a writer that, now how this happened was I built relationships at a hotel with a manager there. My last meeting was at that hotel with Notre Dame. And it's been now 9 years go by. My final shot to see if they would at least look at this idea. And they kept saying, no, no, no. In fact, the athletic department called me in and asked me never to walk on campus again.
Jeez.
Really?
Yeah, they made me sign a piece of paper saying,
Wow.
"Well, it's okay, right? Because they felt it was NCAA. I was infringing on their athlete. I said, I wasn't. I'm just talking to them. They're friends of mine. Well, you can't do that, Rudy. So sign this. If you ever do this, we'll bar you from this university. But that didn't stop me, right? Just go back to them. And there was a hotel manager that liked my story. Now, here's where I call why you don't give up. Because you don't know who knows someone.
Correct.
You just don't. And you don't know if a guy likes you, he will help you. Like football. There was one guy on that football team that gave his uniform up for me.
Right.
And because NCAA had a rule that year, only 60 guys could dress at home. What era, it was 110. So 50 guys would not dress. So I'm not one of those 60. So there were 50 of us that aren't going to dress, but yet are promised your seniors will dress for your final home game. Now, Divine can't do that because a new coach comes in. That's another thing I had to go through. But what I believed was if I keep working, and every now and then I would want to quit, trust me, and not that it was a friend that kept me in the game, either a coach or a player or a janitor or somebody that kept me going. I stayed in there, and a good thing I did, because that's what I did with the movie. I kind of took that, I kind of keep going. And there was a hotel manager that liked me who said to me after my final meeting at Notre Dame, and they were really nice. They said, we love Rudy, but we told Rudy, no, we don't want to hear about this project, nor we're not going to do a movie about this university. Done. And I walked out of that meeting saying, wow. And I had some pretty cool people in that room at the time who I thought could help me persuade Notre Dame, but they didn't want anything to do with Notre Dame because they didn't understand Notre Dame. So I let them go in a nice way. And the hotel manager says to me, how'd the meeting go? I said, well, I think I played longer. And he said, Rudy, my brother's coming to town. You need to talk to him. In fact, tell him your story. I tell him all the time what you're doing. He says, man, I love to talk to that guy. And he did. He comes to South Bend. We had a pizza. I told him the story. And he said, without hesitation, that is a movie. I said, well, I've been trying to tell this in Hollywood. He said, you're talking to the wrong people. I could help you get to the writer of the movie Hoosiers. Have you ever seen Hoosiers? I said, yeah. He said, that's my partner. We put Hoosiers together. It's a brother. I had a brother who had that connection. Yep. All right. So he calls Angelo Pizzo, who wrote the movie, who's in Bloomington, Indiana. They went to IU together, were fraternity brothers. And he said, yeah, I'll talk to the guy, send him out. Well, Angelo really had no intentions of coming to my meeting, but I did. So I fly out there, went into my boss for the final time and asked for some more days off. He fired me on the spot in a nice way. I mean, he was really good about it. He said, Rudy, get out there and don't come home until you get this done. I said, I can't handle you, back and forth. I said, I understand. He said, just get out. So he burnt my boat for me, if that makes sense. I can't go back. I'm going out there. So I go out there. I get my buddy. I built some relationships out in California, Santa Monica. I go to Louise's Restaurant, Trenton, Montana. Never forget this little restaurant, Italian restaurant. It's not there anymore, but I sat in that place for 3 hours and no Angelo. So what do you do? Oh man, you don't have a job. You got fired. This is stupid. What am I doing? This, good God, what else is I can't go to Notre Dame and talk about the movie. So wait a minute. Rocky didn't give up. Swear to God, I got like getting punched right in the face. And I walked outside and there was a black mailman whistling and smiling. And I thanked him for that smile. And that was the connection. He liked me. I liked him. There was a little more conversation, good conversation. By the time we talked about who we were, what we were, he's from Michigan, I'm from Indiana. So we had some values there. And I told him my story. He said, follow me, man. At Angelo Pizzo, I deliver his mail every day. I know where he lives.
Wow.
So he takes me to his house.
That's almost
I call that an angel, another angel, right?
That's unbelievable.
And I knock on this door. Now, this is how the serendipity, I knock on his door and he says to me, who is this? I said, Rudy. So how'd you find me? I said, never mind, but you're late for lunch. And then he said, hey, man, the excuses start coming out. I've been up all night rewriting. I'm sorry. I was just overwhelmed with what I had to do, blah, blah, blah. He says, you got a good story, but I'm not going to do any more sports stories out here. I got to change genre, and I hate Notre Dame. Bingo. That was his kind of. But I didn't hear that. What did I hear? You got a good story. That's all I heard. I didn't hear the other. That was all. That's a mindset, right? So, and now my patience got to kick in relationships. What I had to do was, okay, I got this guy. This is my guy. But you can't tell him that. But now it's up to me to build a relationship with the guy. It takes 2 more years. So I go back to South Bend and I'm cutting grass, shoveling snow, because I'm not going to go get another job and get fired again. Now it's up to me, right? But man, do you get the ridicule from your friends? They drive by. Hey, Rudy, how's that movie gone? Well, they see me cutting grass. What, they just want to, dig it in. Hey, Mr. Notre Dame graduate, good job. Little digs every now and then. And that would anger me in a very positive.
Hey, Rudy, first they laugh at you, then they tell you how they know you.
Oh, Coach, this is what I'm getting to, right? I get that phone call. I go back to my condo 2 years later, and there's a little red dot on my answer machine, and it's Angelo Pizzo. He says, call me, it's important. So, what's he want? Call him. Says, you won't believe this, Rudy, but I've been commissioned to write your script. I said, what? He said, I'll tell you more about it, but you need a lawyer. Columbia Pictures, they want to get this going now. They want to film this fall, so let's get going. I said, man, this is too fast. Now it's boom, boom, boom. And now I call a friend who's out in California. He helped me get a lawyer, entertainment lawyer. We put the deal together, but I don't tell him about Notre Dame yet.
Wow.
He writes the script, finishes. We get a green light on the film, but there's no Notre Dame, approval yet. Yeah. And they assume Notre Dame's going to jump on this, right?
Yeah.
I said, right, guys, we got one more hurdle. We got the money. We got the studio. Now we got to go tell Notre Dame. What do you mean tell Notre Dame? They don't want this movie.
They almost kicked me off campus. They don't want me back.
Right. I said, but hey, with this, we got some power now. We got the money. We got a studio. We got a good screenplay. So let's go. So we go there. And that weekend, never forget, we had our meeting, lasted about 20 seconds. We got the approval.
That's amazing. But Rudy, more
but the athletic department doesn't know it yet.
Okay. I have to ask.
Yeah. This is where the conflict comes in, right?
Yeah.
So we get the admissions, Notre Dame. There's 2 states at Notre Dame. There's Notre Dame and there's Notre Dame football. Right? There's 2 separate entities, but now they try to make it one. But it's a great school, don't get me wrong, but they were so awesome. The university gave us 100% while the kids were in school to shoot this movie, but the athletic department would not let us shoot on the football fields. So we had to find other areas to shoot practice. They said we would ruin the field, and which is nuts, stupid. Then we needed 60,000 people to film the final scene at halftime. They wouldn't give us that. So we went to the band. We got the approval from the band, put the kids in the movie, and they were pissed because now they see us coming out at halftime and they're yelling, oh, who the hell? I go on and on, but we really shoved it right up their ass, and we got a good movie. We got a good feel. We had the NFL films come in to film this movie. They were awesome. And they filmed all of football, which made it real and we made it feel. And we would hear from the Notre Dame, certain athletic people at Notre Dame, oh, these guys don't look like Notre Dame football players. They say, well, what the hell are they supposed to look like? You take that helmet off, that's one ugly dude in that Notre Dame locker room.
Rudy, do you ever sit back and just like become in awe in what was created by your hard work in a sense? And what I mean by that is,
no, I don't take myself.
But you do, like the ripple effect you have, right? Like if you don't pursue this, I mean, Sean Astin, who played you, he was in the Goonies and other things, but he doesn't probably have the career he has afterwards.
Yes,
as Rudy. And people, yes, exactly, Vince Vaughn. Like, you understand the amount of kids, including myself, who watched this movie and like became a Notre Dame fan, like generations of Notre Dame fanhood.
Became the spirit of the message.
Yeah. So like,
you did.
You ever just sit back like, man, this is like, obviously we're only on Earth for a short period of time. We're a blip in the radar of Earth. And like, you actually created a change, which a lot of people can't say. The story you have will live on decades, maybe centuries. And it's going to be in sports history. So like, are you able to sit back like in awe of it? Like,
you know what? I'm glad you asked that question. Sometimes I scratched my head. I said, how come Rudy's not used for more commercials? Or how come Rudy the Message, if they really want good, why are they showing these athletes that really have more talent, and 97% of us can't do what they do anyhow?
It's unattainable. Yeah, you can't attain.
Unattainable, but at least Rudy's attainable. Come on, guys. I mean, but I don't push that button, but I question that area. But what I do find out, this is probably something I don't realize till you actually go there. I'm at a LA Laker basketball game. You could look this up on YouTube. Kobe Bryant at USC, Rudy, and see what he says about how the movie changed his life, made his philosophy very simple and powerful through the fact that if you get better each day and work hard, where will you be 20 years from now? Because he has a talent and skill where Rudy didn't have any talent or skill, but he gave me the spirit and the energy and to work hard. So when you hear people like that talking, you've done your job and you're glad you made the movie. Where some people go, oh, Rudy's a poser. Well, I'm not going to hang around that guy anyhow. That's that guy that says you're too old. You're whatever. Like I had fun with you guys when you first come on, just see if you had a sense of humor. You got to have a sense of humor with this.
I'm still wondering if you finished mowing the lawn after you.
Absolutely, and I was good at it, by the way. Yeah. But you know what? I have pride in my grass.
You have to.
Yeah. And when we had our premiere in South Bend, we had over 10,000 people there. And guess who showed up? Those guys.
Nice. Good for you. Yeah. Of course they did.
Hey, Rudy, we knew you could do it. Yeah, right.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
of course.
But I think your hard work is amazing because we've interviewed people from rappers to rockers and anyone, and they all have the same story. Like they were sleeping on hotel floors. You never get the story. Oh, we just woke up, we rapped, and we made it. It's always like people say it might take 10 years to get to the one day that changes your life. And you were legit a product of that, which is awesome to hear.
Yeah, and you know what? That's where movies came in for me. And good music, by the way. My son likes rap. Right? Yeah. He's a hockey player. He likes the rhythm of the story, the good story, the positive. He doesn't like that other, whatever that is. But he likes that rhythm in the story, and that's what inspires. The story always inspires the mind, where you came from, having when he hears those stories, it inspires him to work hard. That's me. I could do that too. So all I'm saying, movies are huge, and like Mark Wahlberg's a great example. Gets in prison, Mucky Muck, and whatever was he, Monkey Mike, whatever.
Marky Mark.
Yeah, and he gets in prison. He gets, but look what happened to him. Now the switch flips for him.
Right.
Now he's making faith-based movies. What an awesome human being. But he had to go through all that to get to that.
Right.
To make a change, and that's basically. People say, why Notre Dame? Because if you could do something great, go with the best. Go against the best. And beat them. You don't have to be the best to be there, but be the best guy you could be in that moment. And you will always have a legacy with those guys because they will never forget you. They will introduce their kids to you. This is Rudy. I played with Rudy instead of Rudy played with me. Right. See, that's the difference. That's the flip-flop. And I was on a plane one day. This was years ago. I think this old guy was like me. I'm an old guy sitting. I'm in the window. He's in the aisle, and there's a middle seat open. This guy had a Super Bowl ring on, and I'm going, "Who'd you play for, man?" He wouldn't talk to me. I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I played football." He said, "Yeah, who'd you play for?" Real. I said, "Notre Dame." So you played for Notre Dame? I said, "Yeah." I said, "I wasn't any good. I only made a tackle." And he looks at me. He says,
"It clicked."
"Yeah, you're Rudy." Yeah. I said, "Yeah. How would you know that?" He says, "My kid loves you, man. He thinks you're the best." It was Tom Brady's dad. So you never know. You just don't know who's going to watch that movie. Hockey. Here's a good one. Hockey. The Colorado Avalanche calls me up in 1996 to present to them the Stanley Cup. And their Stanley Cup rings, not the Stanley Cup, but the rings. Right?
Is that the Joe Sakic team?
Joe Sakic.
Joe Sakic.
Hey, coach, listen to me. this is really cool. Patrick Waugh, Joe Sack, and Mike
Patrick Waugh.
Ritchie. Yeah, and when they called me like, I don't know, they just changed from Canada to Colorado. And But they used the Rudy movie because they were the underdog clips to show the team. Well, anyhow, they bring me and they don't know I'm coming. The players, right? They're going to give them the rings. The Stanley Cup guy, I'm with them. All the rings are in the cup. They give me Patrick Waugh's ring. Said he's going to be a captain. He's right in front, but you're going to be behind the screen. You're going to repeat the plaque that Sean Astin reads in the movie. I don't know where I'll be there in Rock. That plaque in the locker room. Yeah, I could do that. So they freeze it. I got my microphone. I give it. I come walking around the. I'll never forget this. Mike Ritchie. Holy fuck! That's Rudy.
That's the reaction.
His face is all scarred up, man. He went nuts, and all those guys were great. And they gave me their jersey, and they gave me they signed. It was a wonderful moment. Then I moved to Vegas, and about 3-4 years ago, they're having what they call a rookie camp here, and I'm up in the wherever it is, all the guys, all the big guys. I'm up in there just watching him. This guy starts talking to me. I don't know who he was. I said, boy, he looks familiar. And he said, hey, Rudy, I'll see you. Good to see you again. Yeah. I'm acting like, okay, no problem.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. And this guy comes up to me and said, man, you must be somebody. If that guy's talking to you. I said, yeah, I'm the one. I said, yeah. I said, who is that guy? That's Joe Sakic, man.
You don't remember me?
But then I chased him down and said, I'm so sorry. But Pierre LaCroix moved out to Vegas, and he passed away not too long ago. But why I'm glad I made the movie Rudy.
Yeah, and it's funny, like how you keep bringing up the music. The music,
yeah,
to me, along with that message of heart and determination and drive, it's perfect. And it's the only movie I can honestly say the last 10 minutes, that scene with that music playing, the chant going, you don't say a word. You just sit there in awe and then start tearing. You can't speak. You just start getting emotionally, and it doesn't matter how many times you see it.
It doesn't matter, right? It's Jerry Goldsmith. We could not afford him to do the music, so we gave him the music rights. So he did that for nothing. And he made a lot of money after the movie because of
smart move on his part.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. But boy, he was into that.
Was there did you want to play yourself, or did
no?
you don't want to go through it again?
I'm in the movie as a cameo. That's about it.
Rudy,
no,
was there
Sean
another
Astin.
actor?
I found Sean Astin on the movie Memphis Belle.
Okay.
Remember that? I remember Goonies, but when I saw Memphis Belle, I said, that's it. He had that. My dad was a B-17. He was on the B-17 plane bomber, right? He was a turret gunner like Sean was in the movie. We just had that connection. So I called Angelo and David, writer and producer and director. So you got to look at this. They just casted Chris O'Donnell. But Sean was the guy. He was the guy.
Wow.
Rudy, I have to say, if you ever make a Rudy 2 after Notre Dame, and I mean, I mow a pretty good lawn, and I'm around the age, and, I think I could be you and travel around, go on.
Well, you know what we're going to be putting on is a musical.
There you go.
Yeah, that together. Yeah, we're excited about it. We went on Broadway once already. We did well, but not for the Rudy. It was more of the. You can look it up. Dream Big on Broadway, Rudy Ruettiger, and we did real well with that. And our documentary, Rudy Ruettiger, The Walk, I got an Emmy for that. But my whole point is, if you do it for you, it doesn't. But if you do it for other people, you got to have a goal bigger than you got to do that for your dad, for your brothers, for your friends, to give them hope. And that was the whole feeling I had, because if I can have my dad believe, and he could walk around, in the last 15 years of his life, he walked around very proud with that movie. And my whole life was, because we come from a large family, one of 14, we're always my parents were always put down because we had so many kids, but now look what's happened.
Yeah.
Now, what motivated you more, that determination to succeed, or was it the fear of that failure of letting everybody down? Like, what was
the feeling? Okay, I'm glad you asked that. There was a feeling you get for when you walk on the campus of Notre Dame. I belong here. So you fight for that feeling. When I went out to Hollywood, I had the same feeling. I belong here. That's what I fought for. It's a feeling I only people. It's a feeling you fight for. That I don't call it. It's like
you just know when
you
it happens?
just know this is where I belong. You know, I belong here,
Right.
but people don't want you here. You know,
Yeah.
you just have to ignore that and keep fighting and keep moving, and you belong here too. That's what I fought. I belong here too. But you don't get in arguments with people. You just keep moving forward.
Head down, keep going.
It wasn't because of religion. It wasn't because of academics or sports. It was more the feeling that made you feel. It was like being
Pride.
It just cleared my mind and made me feel good and powerful. It's almost like eating a steak. You don't go back to hamburger, right?
Mhm.
It's that type of. I mean, maybe bad. That's a bad ration. National.
How like hard was the crash, like after that final game where you knew you accomplished it, where you were like, what next?
I had to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to clean the stadium. No, bullshit. I had to clean the stadium. That was my job. Sweep down the steps. I'm going, oh shit, I gotta go clean the stadium.
Hey, nice sack, Rudy. Now here's a broom. Get the
I gotta go with my janitor, but we're sweeping down the steps. And they all loved it, man.
He's wiping up my popcorn.
Yeah,
it would have been great if they carried you not off the field, but to where you had to clean up.
Yeah, I'm serious. That's why the janitors and I are, we're like buddies.
That's so cool though to see in the movie when obviously it's portrayed in Hollywood. Not Brian, I know you have to go and we'll do a final round table and then let you go, but like it's cool.
No, you're fine.
Oh, it's cool to see how your father was proud, and it's also devastating to know I can't even do 5 pull-ups, and my father looks at me with utter disdain. So you played for Notre Dame, and I can't even do a pull-up, and it's very devastating. But I digress.
Well, look what you're doing some good work.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Right? Yeah, I wish I could do what you do. I can't do what you do.
But it's not easy.
No, it isn't. It's not easy doing what you do. Even being a rapper is not easy. People don't understand. That's that rhythm within you, man. And that's an art. Like my kid's a sophomore at Arizona State. He's a hockey player. So this summer I said, you need a good job. Don't go to Starbucks. You go get a skill job. So he's working as an electrician.
Nice.
He's what they call a apprentice. But they pay him like $45 an hour. I said, dude, you have a future now.
Yeah, no.
Get your degree, and when you get your master's electrician's license, and you'll be making good dough.
You're set.
You're set.
Although I have to say, if you work at Starbucks, I heard from one of my friends they let you have free Spotify. That's a perk, Rudy.
Oh, what a perk!
Right.
$45 an hour.
They pay all that money for a degree. They can't get a job.
Exactly.
They don't have a skill. Well, you guys have a skill, and your
you.
skill is to communicate with information and make it fun too.
Of course, you gotta laugh.
That's why I keep speaking, because it's fun for me.
Exactly. Do what you love, right?
It is, and I love listening to interviews like people who made it and how they made it. But most of those guys have talent.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's you can't teach it, and I appreciate you saying that about us. That's really cool. Brian, final thing, because I know you got to go.
Oh yeah, but not just to elaborate on that. Even with talent, I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't work hard at something, it's very rare to come across a person that is just so gifted. I mean, it's 1 in a billion that you don't have to put in the work. They just find you and they say, "Oh my God, look at this!" That's favor, so rare.
Brian. Do me a favor. Watch the Brian. Watch the Kobe Bryant's interview, USC Rudy, and you get a lot out of that. He's awesome. He speaks very very simple but very powerful. And there's a lot of stuff on YouTube you can find on our speaking, but Kobe's the one that really hit home. And he was in church the day he died. He really became, his whole life was really becoming real cool, and his life ends. But he also left a legacy and a great message. So
Yeah, he did.
yeah. So my whole point to you guys have a skill, definitely have the talent, and you got the sense of humor, and you got a good haircut, man.
You know what? That's because I'm
Perfect.
starting something new. Honestly, the moment of the episode, which I have to hand out, aside me getting incredibly complimented by you, Mr. Rudiger, I'm gonna give the moment of the episode to Brian's haircut here, because I just have to, and it really bothers me because like now I couldn't stop looking at it. And when you said, Brian, I want you to do something for me, I thought you were gonna ask for his barber's number. So Rudy, really quick, and then I know Remy might want to finish this up, but Rudy, where can we find you now? What are you up to now? Your Instagram, email, anything?
Yeah, well, I have a couple of good things going. And during my journey, I found a young man out in Wisconsin. We developed a team, a cheese team. We have a cheese company out in Wisconsin, and we're developing Omega milk with our cows, which now our Omega will become Omega cheese, Omega milk, which is very healthy milk.
Yeah.
The milk that now we could all drink, and it helps your immune system and other things. But that's one of the projects, and I love that project. So I'm very endowed into that. I'm also I do a lot of speaking, and I just support my son and my daughter. My daughter graduated from the Boston Conservatory, and she's awesome, and she's got a great future. But you live for the kids now.
Rudy, really quick, did you know you were in a Simpsons episode reference?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
saw that where they were trying to. Did you laugh at that? Like, did you ever think?
How about The Office?
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't see The Office. I'm not.
Oh yeah, they always have Rudy moments in the.
Yeah, but like I always think about that with the Simpsons.
It's just like, this is probably the most like quietest I've been in any of these, because just hearing you tell the story and everything, it's like just being locked into it. It's just unforgettable, pretty much.
Motivating, very motivating.
Right before I got on, guys, I got to tell you, I just got this, new house, and I'm trying to put this new thing on my toilet, but I don't know how to shut this damn thing off, right? The water supply. Right. It's a real simple deal. So I called the plumber. He said, just pull it out. So I did, and it shuts off. Now I got to go fix my toilet. That's my job when I leave you guys.
After that, did you call your son up and say, you know what, forget about an electrician. I need a plumber.
I need a plumber. I like doing this because it keeps me going. And my son's a bass fisherman as well. So we bass fish, we're in tournaments. So we got a lot of good things going, guys. Right?
Absolutely.
If Notre Dame ever plays Rutgers, come out here.
Hey, watch this, guys. You ready for this?
All right, what do we got?
Okay. I'm on the airplane, and there's whole rustlers come on. They're all Rutgers rustlers.
Okay.
Right? So I got two of the rustlers sitting with me. Good guys. And we end up changing shirts on the flight, because we found out who we were, what we were. And he's
boy.
Yeah. So he gave me his jersey, and I gave him my shirt, and it's kind of cool. So I have a Rutgers. They were cool. Good guys. It is what it is, right?
Rudy, you've been more than grateful with your time, man. We really appreciate it. We'll let you go.
Well, you guys so much. Made it because you're good guys.
Thank you. I'm a great person.
Because of you. We used your story and motivation from the movie to become.
I'm glad you had a sense of humor, because I'm going to check these dudes out right away.